Hi guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through my AFL tipping for round 2 and also reviewing my AFL tips for round 1. It wasn't the best round for me. So before we get into that, remember to like and subscribe as there's more videos coming up in the future, and we'll get into the video now. So if I switch across to here, you'll see I've got my tips from round 1, and I'll also be using Squiggle just so that I can see and then we can compare the ladder that I had from round 1 if I grab that up in a sec. So if I actually go to YouTube, I can quickly grab up my ladder and we'll see. Where is the video? Here we go. If I go to the end here, here's the ladder. Okay, so that's the ladder for reference. And then, so who did we have? Essendon, I actually had them in 6th and they're in 1st, so not bad. Sydney, 2nd, I had them in 9th, as I thought it would be a tough game. Melbourne, 3rd, there I had them in 1st, so not bad. Port in 4th, I had them down in 16th, so I didn't expect them to win. St Kilda 5th, and St Kilda are in 5th, and I had them down in 17th, so another bad pick. Collingwood 6th, I had them 15th. And then GWS 7th, I had them in... Where did I have GWS? 12th, so just sort of a flip of them winning and losing. And then North 8th, I had North in 11th, so I just had a very tight loss between West Coast and them. So if we look back here, I got 4 out of 9, including the draw point as well, so I only actually predicted 3 out of 8 results. Didn't predict Collingwood, West Coast as I said, Brisbane, that was a shock. And then I got the 2 Saturday night games right, which was good. And then Sunday, Adelaide were looking good until GWS ran over the top of them, which was really surprising given that GWS has some injuries as well. And then Freo decided to kick it around the back and basically got smoked for it. So now I'm going to do my picks for round 2. And this round, if I do them now, I've already preset them, and then we'll go into the into Squiggle for it. Where's Squiggle? There we go. That's better. Not that. Should have done this beforehand. Here we go. So okay, so that's set up right. So now if we go, does this have the right ladder? Yes, it does. Okay, so it's reset. So I've picked here Geelong tonight by 16 points. I do think they have a comeback now, and I can actually move this over into this corner, and I'll set them up properly so that you can see the results. So Geelong tonight by 16 points. They should just, I think, overrun Carlton, as Carlton have, Geelong have all their guys back and they should just be better. Brisbane against Melbourne, I have Melbourne winning, and we'll go to the margin when we go over to Swiggle. And then, so I just think Melbourne are looking really, really good. And yes, we will see the only thing I can think of that will happen is we'll see a comeback from Brisbane, and Brisbane are playing at the Gabba. So, it's actually a tough one. I might actually switch and say Brisbane are going to win this, and I think Neil comes out in front of the home crowd and really puts on a best on ground performance and wins it for them. And then I've gone, this one's tough again. I might actually have to switch another pick and go for Collingwood here, just because Port did it against Brisbane, but Brisbane were just so terrible, whereas I think Geelong weren't as bad, but Collingwood just was too good. So I'm actually going to switch this again to Collingwood. I mean, it's more of a safe pick, I guess. And then we have Richmond against Adelaide. I think this is a pretty easy pick, to be honest. I know Adelaide will come back, but I do think Richmond really will use the momentum that they gained to steal, I guess, a draw against Carlton, and will run over Adelaide. I do think we'll see another good game out of Nankervis and Taranto, and we'll see the likes of Bolton and Revolt really star in this game. So then you have Western Bulldogs against St Kilda. Western Bulldogs, surely they have to do something. I just think with the way that they line up, I think it's better suited to break down St Kilda's defence that Ross Lyon set up. Although we could see St Kilda finally take that step up with Ross Lyon and just be a defensive, I guess, juggernaut and be able to withstand all these, I guess, big forward lines and I guess unique forward lines. Then we have North Melbourne against Freo, and even though North won on week 1 and Freo lost, it's pretty, I guess, almost self-explanatory that I think Freo's going to stand up and win this game. It's at home, and I think that they won't kick it around the back as much, and I just think they'll find a way to break down North's defence. And Swans beating Hawks, I think this is... I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the Hawks somehow pulled it on us, but I don't think they have enough experience at the moment, and I think the Swans will just be able to dominate their midfield. And I think the Swans' backline is looking a lot better this year than it did last year. I mean, it was only Gold Coast, and they did only have Chol, which he's not the most... If you can get him... If you don't let Chol into the game early, he can pretty much fade out pretty quickly. So that's why I've gone with that. And then you've got Essendon versus Gold Coast, and I think we'll see a response from Gold Coast here. So I'm picking actually a lot of the sides that lost round 1 to win in round 2. But I just think Gold Coast are the better outfit, and I think Wits will dominate in the ruck yet again. And I think you'll see Tuke Miller put on a 35 disposal, 1 goal performance here and win the game for Gold Coast. Then you got West Coast against GWS, and really it's a battle between who's going to be almost bottom after... GWS obviously won't be bottom, but these two I expect to be near enough the bottom come season's end. And I think GWS just beats West Coast because West Coast was just pathetic. So we'll submit those picks, and then I'll quickly update it over here so I can have it updated for you guys. So there we go. And now I go over to here and I pick my margins for those games. So in this game, as I said, I thought Geelong would pip it by 16 points. I do think that you will see Mackay and Curnow kick probably 7 between them, but I just think Geelong have... Cameron and others that will just... I think they'll win this by 16. Then I said Brisbane would win it over Melbourne, and I don't think we'll... I think we'll see that... Does this have the right thing? Yeah, they're both... Yeah, there we go. So I think you'll see Brisbane win this, but it'll be a tight game, and I think they'll win it by 7. Then we've got Collingwood against Port, and I think Collingwood's probably going to win this game. I think they'll actually blow them away. To be honest, it'll be tight, but I just think going into half time, it'll be tight, and then Collingwood just have the legs to overrun Port. So Collingwood win. Then we have Adelaide against Richmond, and as I said, I think Richmond will outclass them in this game, and I think you'll see Adelaide fall away, especially after last week, and I think you'll see Richmond win this by 6 goals. Then you got Western Bulldogs versus St Kilda, and I just think it'll be a low-scoring game, but I think it will be... So can I do this manually? Yeah, I'll do this manually. So I just think it will be probably 60 to 78 or something like that. And you'll see that occur. And then you got North versus Freo. And I think Freo win this on their home deck pretty convincingly, so I'm going to say Freo by 40 points. Then you got Swans versus Hawks, and I just think the Swans win it pretty early, and you could see them win it by like 50 points here. Even though it is Swans Hawks, I just think there's a gulf in class between these two, and I think Swans win it by 50. And then you got Essendon versus GWS, Gold Coast, and I think this will be a tight one, but I think Gold Coast are able to win this by 10 points. And then you got here GWS versus West Coast, and I think GWS win this by 15 points. Even with all the injuries that GWS has, I think it just means that you have Cornelio, Callahan and stuff like that go into the middle. You bring in another wingman and another forward basically, and then you find a replacement for Perryman, and I think they have better replacements, so I'm gonna go them by 20 points. And there's the ladder I have after round 2 given round 1's results, and Swans are probably a little bit biased in their percentage, up at number 1 for me. Collingwood, number 2, GWS, number 3 rounds out all the undefeated. Well, Richmond are undefeated, but not. They have a draw next to their name as well. So, and then you got a load of teams that are 1-1, and then Carlton is the one of the winless sides, but they do have a draw. And then you got West Coast, Adelaide, and Hawthorn at 0-2, and I think it sort of shows in the way that they performed in round 1 as to why they should be the teams that are 0-2. And that's the video there and then. So I'll see you guys in another video sometime soon. Thanks guys. Goodbye.